Voters in Santa Fe approved ranked choice voting 10 years ago, but it's only now being implemented in local elections. It took time to get equipment in place that could handle voting that tallies ranked choice voting, and there were legal challenges to using the new system up until last week. Producer Sarah Gustavus sat down with the leader of Fair Vote New Mexico to learn more about how ranked choice voting works and what voters need to know this March.
Maria Perez, Director of Fair Vote New Mexico, thanks for stopping by.
Thank you for having me, Sarah.
Let's start with, what is ranked choice voting?
Sure. Ranked choice voting is a very simple but profound shift that we can make in our electoral politics, the way we elect our elected officials, that gives voters more choice and a stronger voice at the ballot.
What does it look like?
So it basically is a runoff election that's folded into just one election. So voters don't have to go back to the polls a second time. What it looks like is you rank all the candidates in order of preference. You pick your favorite candidate, and then you decide, well, if that candidate doesn't get elected, who would I like to get elected, and so forth. So you just rank all the candidates. And once everybody votes, everybody's first choice candidates get counted. If one of them wins 50% plus one of the vote, then they're the winner. But if they don't, then the candidate with the least number of votes gets eliminated. And then those voters' second choice candidate gets counted as their vote. And this goes on until some candidate gets 50% plus one of the vote.
Now, why did your organization advocate for this in recent years?
So Fair Vote is the organization that I work for. We are a nonpartisan, nonprofit organization, and we work on electoral reforms, again, that give voters a stronger voice at the polls. Ranked choice voting is one of those tools that builds our democracy and that allows voters to have more power at the polls. So this is why we've been advocating for this.
That maybe there could be multiple candidates that don't have to exactly toe the line on either party, so they might represent more accurately the people that they would serve?
Correct. So ranked choice voting really helps strengthen representation because unlikely or non-traditional candidates can run without being afraid of splitting the vote or getting in the way, of getting somebody that nobody wants elected because there's too many, progressive or too many conservative candidates running in a specific place. So everybody can run, everybody can have their voice at the table, and you don't have to worry about splitting the vote again.
Now, voters in Santa Fe approved this a few years ago, but it took some time to get the technology in place. What were the challenges there?
So yeah, the voters of Santa Fe voted for this back in 2008, and it passed with an overwhelming majority. 65% of the people voted for it. The voting machines, if you will, the software wasn't ready to tabulate ranked choice races until now. So the Secretary of State just certified the equipment that we'll be using, and it's ready now. It's actually going to be in all the machines that the whole state of New Mexico has. So if other cities are interested in having ranked choice voting, they now can.
Now, was this a challenge nationally that cities or municipalities wanted to go this direction but needed the technology to get there?
Not so much, really. It's something specific to Santa Fe because when voters approved this, there was a stipulation in that initiative, in that charter language that said Santa Fe shall have ranked choice voting elections once the equipment is ready, and that what the equipment meant was very clearly defined. So other municipalities, for example, Minneapolis has ranked choice voting and has for a couple of election cycles. And their charter language didn't really specify exactly what kind of equipment was necessary. They just passed it, and then they figured out how to tabulate it. Actually, they use Excel sheets in Minneapolis to this day to tabulate their results.
What other cities are doing ranked choice voting right now?
There's about a dozen cities now. So we have Twin Cities, Minneapolis and St. Paul, Tacoma Park, Maryland. We have Cambridge, Massachusetts. Bay Area cities, there's 4. That have it. So, and now we have Santa Fe. So there's a few.
Okay, so it was certified, the equipment was certified, but then the city council voted against implementing it this year, setting off some court challenges. The council raised concerns about the vendor for the voting software and the need to educate voters. Is there enough time to educate voters right now before March?
Well, that's an excellent question, and I'll quote the Secretary of State who testified in one of the court hearings around this. When she was asked this question, she said, It is always better to have more time to educate the voters. No matter what time frame is that you have, it's always better to have more time, right? Voter education is something that should be happening year-round, whether there's an election coming on or not. Having said that, she also said there is enough time to get the word out and do some public outreach and get some messaging on media and on buses, organized forums and all this sort of thing, doing mailers to every registered voter. So we are working very diligently on doing this in collaboration with the city and many other community groups to make sure that voters are aware that this is happening and that they know what it means and how to do it.
What are some creative ways that you're teaching people about ranked choice voting?
Getting creative with this is really fun. We are doing things like mock elections. For example, we're reaching out to local businesses in Santa Fe that have products that lend themselves to ranking. For example, we're working with some local breweries to do rank your brew events where the business would provide little samplers of 5 different kinds of beers, and patrons would come, they would sample the beers, they would rank their beers, and then we would tabulate the results on site and declare a winner, so that you're just getting people comfortable with voting this way in a fun way that's not related to the candidates or anything like that.
So Santa Fe's March 6th municipal election is coming up. What do voters need to know between now and then?
Well, voters, first of all, need to know that they need to register if they're not registered. They have a couple weeks to register still. Absentee voting starts on January 30th, and early voting starts mid-February. So that's something you should know. And then just know that it's easy. If you can count to 5, you can do this. We rank stuff all the time, you send your partner to the grocery store to get ice cream and you say, if they don't have chocolate, bring vanilla. It's not that different. So just know that you're gonna have the opportunity to rank the candidates. We have 5 mayoral candidates. Pick your favorite and then decide in which order you'd like to see them become mayor in case that your favorite doesn't win. So it's easy. Please rank all the candidates. Another thing that I would like people to know is that ranking other, second, third, fourth, and fifth choices will never hurt your favorite candidate. And those rankings only will get counted if your favorite candidate gets eliminated. So there's some confusion, like if I rank, then does my favorite candidate, does that hurt them in any way? It doesn't. Your second, third, fourth, and fifth ranking only get counted if your first choice candidate gets eliminated.
And is there any discussion about other cities in New Mexico taking this to Albuquerque or other places?
There's some interest both in Albuquerque and in Las Cruces at this time. I'm having conversations with activists and stakeholders in both places. I'd be very interested in making that happen. I mean, one thing that is a great benefit of ranked choice voting is that in places like Albuquerque that have runoff elections, ranked choice voting is a type of runoff election. So you get the 2 rounds of the election done in one visit to the polls. So that saves people time. You get a higher turnout usually just with one election, and it saves the city and the candidates a whole lot of money to just do one election rather than 2.
Do you anticipate some concerns when you start to talk with people about actually putting that on a ballot in Albuquerque or Las Cruces?
There's always concerns, and change is always hard for folks, but that's the way that democracy works. We bring up an idea and we have discussions back and forth, we figure out what works, and if it's a good idea, then hopefully it will prevail.
Maria Perez from Fair Vote New Mexico, thanks for joining us to talk about ranked voting and what voters need to know in March in Santa Fe.
Thank you so much, Sarah.